This is KMJ at KMJNow.com or wherever you stream. Welcome to the Marc Kapetan Show. This is attorney Marc Kapetan, your host. Today's show is brought to you by the Kapetan Brothers Law Firm. I'm doing the radio voice, Marcella. Today's show is brought to you by the Kapetan Brothers Law Firm, serving the Central Valley since 1995. If you or anybody you know has been injured in an auto accident, a truck accident, or a motorcycle accident, give us a call at 559-498-8000. Or if you've been arrested or cited for a criminal offense, call us at 559-498-8000. Kapetan Brothers, we are the Valley's law firm. Marcella, you get embarrassed when I do that, don't you? You get worried that your husband's going to get mad at me, the program director of KMJ here. Folks, in November of 1977, my brother John took me to my first concert. We drove in his red 1974 Charger SC. The opening act, and it was Kiss, by the way. Oh, man, what a great show. And I've never seen a show since then that compared to it. The opening act was an up-and-coming band called Cheap Trick, and as I've recounted on previous shows, it was one strum of the electric guitar by Rick Nielsen that changed my life and forever and set me on a course of a lifetime of rock and roll as a guitar player. But it wasn't until 40 years later that I appreciated the equally talented singer of Cheap Trick, the man of 1,000 voices as he was known, Robin Zander. That voice, that suave, that look, he was a star. Now, before you get too excited out there in KMJ, we do not have Robin Zander here on the air with us. I know you're all like, oh my God. If someone could get him, by the way, Marcella, we've been asking to get Robin Zander. You have that on the list, right? Yes, she has it on the list. So we'd be forever grateful if you know Robin Zander, by the way. And 3 of my friends just met him, and none of them asked him to be on their Marc Kapetan show. But I recently started a new band that was an homage to Cheap Trick. I took on the singing role of Robin Zander, and God, did I have a newfound appreciation for the difficulty of being a singer, the front man. Sure, natural talent one has to have, but it's the hours and days and years of vocal exercises, vocal training, that pure road experience that makes a great vocalist. Well, I'm about 40 years behind the curve in that regard. My next guest, however, is certainly a talent who is ahead of the curve. She is the owner of the Fresno Music Academy, formerly known as The Voice Shop, which I prefer that name. Sorry, Debbie. Here in Fresno, a local vocal training center and also music, basically lesson center. She is also a great singer in her own right. I know that firsthand, and I will explain that later on. Fronting favorite Valley bands such as Papa Clutch and the Shifters. What else?
Papa Clutch and the Shifters.
Joe Lenigan.
Tasty. I was one of the
singers. Tasty. Was that 1970 something?
No, it was more like maybe late 80s or something. I think I maybe was the last singer of
Tasty.
Band. Yeah. And
sounds like something that opened up for Peaches and Herb back in the day. I recently had the pleasure of working with her on a solo album, and her voice is impeccable. In fact, darn it, during the break, Marcella, we got to find one of those songs if I can. It is impeccable. It's alluring. It's top notch. She also is a board member of the Valley Music Hall of Fame. And this Saturday, April 5th, she will lead a group of 60 singers, April 5th at the Tower Theater, 60 choir singers singing your favorite rock and roll classics and a choir performance called We Will Rock You. And we also have one of those great 60, the 60th member of the choir here. So to tell us all about her beautiful voice is Debbi Ruud and Dave Brodie from the We Will Rock You choir, right?
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, awesome.
We're
all right.
excited.
Is there really 60 people in this choir?
There's just about 60 people. It might be 58.
How far back, Dave, are you in this choir?
The last 3 to 4 years.
Yeah. Oh, no, I meant how far back in the choir do you stand?
I'm in the back row, Mark. Back row. My voice sounds way better from back.
I'm going to make sure the mic's pointing right at you.
We're going to have a lot of fun talking today, folks, but I do have to first mention the passing of a honored member of the music community here in town. He was a guest on the Marc Kapetan Show about a year and a half ago. I want you all to check out that interview, by the way, because it was a wonderful interview with a drummer, owner of Whitey's Pet Shop, sweet guy, friend of ours, friend of yours, Debbie, John Schaefer, may his memory be eternal.
Yeah.
Just passed away yesterday, I think, of cancer, huh?
Yeah.
Another great one. All right. Debbie, sorry to start that on a downer,
okay.
but he was a wonderful guy. Yeah.
I loved him very much.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Fresno's only rock and roll choir?
Yeah.
Is there another thing like that up and down California at all?
There actually is. Our choir started about, 2012. My husband, he wasn't my husband at the time. We were up in Sonoma.
Is that John?
John.
Okay, see, I never could figure out what that relationship was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my husband, John.
Okay. I thought he was just a guy that hung out at the voice shop, you know?
No, I'm married to him.
Okay.
Since 2017. But in 2012, we were hanging out and we went to Sonoma, and it was during the summer, during the week.
Yeah.
And we were hanging out with friends, and one of the women there said, "Hey, I got to go. It was a Wednesday. I got to go to choir practice." And I said, "Oh, what church do you go to?" Because all church choirs rehearse on Wednesdays. So that was my assumption. And she said, "It's not a church choir. It's a rock and roll choir." And I'm like, "What?"
Oh, that's cool.
So I said, "Can I come and sneak a peek?" And she said, "Yeah, come on down." So we went in. And we snuck in, and they were doing their thing, and I was enraptured by it.
Yeah.
And because, first off, it was all older people, and the sound that they were making was beautiful, and just beautiful. They were doing the song "Because" by the Beatles.
Oh, wow.
Which is on Abbey Road,
Yeah.
which we did a couple of years ago at the Tower.
Well, what's funny is as you say that, because it's all older people,
Yeah.
it's probably all the same people that, and I just thought of it, that I tell my nephews, when all the kids didn't have their own individual iPods, the bus going to school had a radio.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about the inhibitions of a kid, but every kid on the bus would be singing the Boston song, or a song from Boston, or even Cheap Trick, or
Yeah.
Kisses, I Want to Rock and Roll All Night, Party, like full blast. The whole bus would be singing.
That's cool.
And that's sort of the same people that you have in your choir.
Well, now here they are.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
X amount of years later, but yeah.
So I asked. I had a conversation with the director. I said, I would love to start this in my town.
Yeah.
And he said, someone tried to do one. I want to say he said Petaluma, which isn't that far from Sonoma.
Yeah.
And he said, and they tried, and it didn't really work out. He said, but you're welcome to try.
Right.
So I went home, and a year later,
I started
it.
How many of them are former singers? How many of them were singers in the church choir and just, wanted something a little bit funner than the church choir?
Well,
and how many of them are just non-singers at all?
That's a good question. A lot of them do come from church backgrounds, but a lot of them just were people, or are people, that love to sing that really never had an outlet. They didn't go to church. They weren't maybe confident enough to try out for a show at Roger Rocca's, or to do community theater, and weren't in church choir. And so now here's this choir they can be in that they don't have to audition for, which can be an issue, if I'm honest. But everyone's welcome.
Does everybody make it?
Everybody makes it.
No matter how good they are,
No matter
right?
how good or not good they are, they're all in there. And surprisingly enough, when everyone is together, we make a beautiful
sound.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking about the part of that beautiful sound, Dave.
Dave.
Listen, you worked for Rick Lehman. You worked for Bruce Brosnan?
Bruce Bronson.
God, that's a name from the past, man.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that. So you're a political guy. Were you a singer at all, a musician at all?
I was a back of the house kind of guy. I was backstage telling other people what to do.
Yeah.
And I never thought, I always loved singing.
Yeah.
But I never would sing out loud, except in the shower, of course.
Yeah.
And when this came along, it is amazing how much fun it is to be with 60 other people, learning a song, learning the timing. We're singing 4-part harmony almost all the time. And as most people know, every time I hear Bohemian Rhapsody, I want to sing the lead, but I'm not singing the lead now.
Well, the lead's kind of scattered. There's lead here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So scattered. You're saying because you do the arranging too, and you and Nate Butler.
Nate does a lot of the arranging. I do some of it, and then the Vox Populi choir that we went to see in Sonoma, their director, his name is Mark Dennis. He graciously lets us use some of his arrangements.
Their scores, really?
Well, they're not scores. The things that come from Sonoma, the Sonoma choir, we all learn those by ear.
Right.
Nate and I try to create scores.
Yeah, but you're making it more difficult than it needs to be as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
We're going to be right back with Debbi Ruud and Dave Brodie from the, what's it called again?
Fresno Music Academy and Arts.
No, not that. The choir.
Hearts on Fire, Fresno's only rock and roll choir.
There you go. We'll be right back after this on the Marc Kapetan Show. This is KMJ. This is KMJ at KMJNow.com or wherever you stream. Folks, you could check all of the podcasts. So if you miss the show live or if you want to tell everybody about the Hearts on Fire concert on April 5th at the Tower Theater, you can have them go to KMJNow.com and check out all the podcasts of Ray Appleton and John and Christina and Philip and E and the morning show with Christopher Gabriel, and all those guys. Awesome stuff. Also, you can check out the Marc Kapetan Show on YouTube, on Facebook. We stream all over the place. So check it out. Smash that like button, as the kids say when you look for the Marc Kapetan Show on YouTube. Smash. Like, subscribe. What else, Marcella? Like, subscribe. Come on, Marcella. You're supposed to be right there with me, hon. Follow, that's it. Follow us on Instagram. I think they follow on Instagram. I don't know what they do. That's sus, Marcella, as your kids would say. Bring your kids on. They'll know what to tell me, what to say. Okay. We are on with Debbi Ruud from the, I want to keep saying the Voice Shop,
okay.
Debbie. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm changing the name back. It's the Voice Shop, and Other. The Voice Shop and Other. The Fresno Music Academy, which is a great place to go get lessons for vocal lessons, also music lessons. Also, Debbie's here to promote Hearts on Fire at the Tower Theater, April 5th, which is 60-member choir singing your classic favorites. Also part of that group is Dave Brodie, former staunch Democratic politician. KMJ lit on fire.
Staunch.
Yeah, believe me.
Non-politician.
Yeah, we had to sneak him by security here at KMJ, by the way.
Ooh.
So,
shout out to Sal.
Shout out to Sal. There you go. Okay. Listen, we were talking, and Dave, I think you were the one who brought it up. You always wanted to sing, and getting in that group. There's something, and I don't know if it's the vibrations of harmony. You think so? So you know exactly where I'm going, Debbie. Tell me what you think it is.
I know right where you're going. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've literally done studies about what music does to the brain, and when you're in a community group singing with other people, and the community, and like you just said, the vibration that it literally releases dopamine and makes people feel good.
Exactly.
Singing makes people feel good.
It's funny. My secretaries would say, listen, Mark, you're driving me crazy. You need to go. And they would say, you need to go run on the track, because when I was able to run and my feet didn't kill me, I would go run on the track. It'd take me about 3-4 miles. And then you would feel a weight lifted off your shoulder and all the tension in your neck and head go away. Going and doing an hour-long practice with the band does the exact same thing.
Yeah. Music is magic.
It's magic, yeah.
It is. It's
and like you said, Dave, you're not a singer. You just always wanted to be part of it.
But he's done front of band fantasy camp.
Yes.
So you have done where you fronted a band.
I did. We did a 1-week training session and got up on Saturday night and sang with a band for the first time in my life.
Yeah.
He killed
Scared to death.
It's so funny. So I started, and Debbie, I've talked to you about it because I want you to come in and give us some tips. I started that band with the Pat Benatar tribute with Margot Kim from Channel 30. After the first practice, she said she always wanted to be a singer. She's only done karaoke, and it took a few practices to get her to find a natural voice, and we'll talk a little bit about that, Debbie. But after a while, I said, hey, by the way, are you liking this? Or are you kidding? And she looked, because she was, nervous. She was scared, She goes, are you kidding me? She goes, I love this. Yeah. And as she's sitting there practicing, I have video of her. She's like bouncing her little head around, and she's like doing all these little moves, and I'm like, we haven't even started playing yet.
And she's already in it. That's good.
She feels that vibration.
Yeah.
Okay, what makes a good singer for you? What can you do as part of your vocal training to make a person from an average singer to a good singer? And do they need, obviously, to have that natural talent, a basis?
Well, I mean, that's a long question.
Yeah.
The answer is long, but my belief about it is that, there has to be some natural ability there. But oftentimes people don't discover that they even have natural ability until later, which I feel was kind of the case for me. But they have to be able to hear pitch.
Yeah.
And if they can't hear pitch, then that's an issue. I will also say that most people can hear pitch, and if they're not hearing it, it's usually a technical thing of why they're not hearing it, or why maybe they're hearing it but they're not being able to hit the notes. It's typically not that they're completely tone deaf. I mean, I can't tell you how many people have come to me, I can't hold a tune in a bucket.
Right.
Blah blah blah, told me I can't sing, blah. Yeah, I have hundreds of people like that who would never even try. The reality is, if those people can settle down and calm down and get the courage to make some sound, most people can sing halfway decently.
You know, it's interesting because I've always wondered with me, I'm the type of guy that if you said, sing me Cheap Trick or sing me one of these songs from the radio, I could get within about a note of the pitch without even hearing.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's in my head.
You can hear it. Yeah.
And I've always wondered if that was a natural ability of mine, or if it's because I started playing piano when I was 6 years old and I learned the vibrations.
I'm going to say yes and yes.
Yeah.
Because I've worked with adults. I work with kids and adults, but I always find it interesting when an adult comes in and they have no sense of rhythm. And I'll ask, did you have any kind of music lessons growing up? And most of those people say no. So if they weren't exposed to someone, I can remember my third grade music teacher coming in, Mrs. Gallagher, ta ta ti ti ta ta ta, ta, and we would do and while I may have had the natural ability, that in combination with hearing that stuff,
it trains you.
It trains you.
By the way, mine was Carly Rhodes.
Okay.
Carly Rhodes. Oh, Miss
You
Rhodes.
had a crush on her.
If you were, I've actually looked her up recently, just because honestly, she became a special person just because we had that connection of music.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt that she was this beautiful Southern belle that she used to say, "Hi, Mark," like that, stuff like that. And I've always wanted to find her to thank her for what she provided me. And she also made it exciting to do music and theater and all that kind of stuff. Something that we're lacking in school. Dave, you're the politician, and you do. And I mean that in somewhat.
My side's the side that wants to fund the arts.
Exactly. And so yes, and we were talking about how I probably didn't vote for the funding that you guys use for the choir. It's funded by what measure?
It's Measure P.
Measure P.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anybody in KMJ may have voted for Measure P. But what we do want, and I think it's important because I know you basically do what do they call it, lobbying type work, or at least you help businesses with the government, is everybody should be around trying to get fundamental music classes for every student in school. I think there's reading, writing, arithmetic, music, and art.
Absolutely.
Science, yes. Okay.
Exactly.
Absolutely. But to sit there and say, no, we don't want to teach music, because I think there's a connection between that and arithmetic. There's a connection between doing that and being able to, read prose and do poetry and all that kind of stuff. So
there's also studies done that show doing any kind of arts, whether it's visual art or dance or music or theater, that it kind of builds on people's ability to have compassion and empathy and acceptance and those kinds of values.
Yeah,
that
and
arts really works for.
there's also another aspect of it. We all of us on all sides of the aisles like work ethic.
Yeah.
And one of the things that, especially music, and especially working in a group, you learn how to work together.
Yep.
You practice every week. You get better at it by being with the other person, hearing what they're doing, they're hearing what you're doing, and it results in a better society.
Yeah.
We have so much fun in choir. We meet once a week. As Debbie said, we're learning by ear, but when we get into it, we're actually, once you learn the lyrics type of thing, you're working on timing.
Yeah.
You're trying to get to the same syllable at the same time that the guy sitting next to you are.
It's teamwork, and it's
teamwork.
It's building teamwork for businesses and everything. That's what we could agree on. See, we cross bounds here on KMJ. Thank you, Dave.
Wow.
We'll be right back after this on KMJ. This is the Marc Kapetan Show. This is KMJ at KMJnow.com or wherever you stream. Folks, I'm going to pop this music down a little bit. Listen, if you have been injured in an auto accident, truck accident, or a motorcycle accident, please, folks, do yourself a favor. Or if you have a friend that's been in an accident, it's a very, very scary time. You're probably in pain, or they're in pain. They don't know what to do. And my brother and I have been doing this for 34 years at Kapetan Brothers Law Firm. And if you're looking for an attorney, or if you're not sure if you need one or not, the best thing you could do is call an attorney. Call us if you'd like to. Call any attorney, but call us. If you've been in an accident or if you've been arrested, we'll have a conversation with you, more than just brief conversation with you. It'll be free. If we think that we could take on your accident case, you owe us no money. If we can't win anything for you, we do what's called a retainer fee that you only pay us if we win for you. And so we've had multi-million-dollar cases, $27 million, $10.5 million, $3 million. It goes on and on and on. So if you or anybody you know has been injured in an auto accident, have them give us a call at the Kapetan Brothers Law Firm. We are back on with Debbi Ruud and Dave Brodie from the Hearts on Fire Choir and the We Will Rock You show. All right. How many songs you guys doing?
I think it's like 16.
16 songs. And I just found out during the break you have a backup band. It's not just an a cappella choir.
No.
All right. Who's playing with the backup? You got Nate Butler on keys and stuff.
Keyboards, and he's also like my, I'll say, musical director.
He's the Paul Schaefer of the group.
He's Paul Schaefer.
Yeah.
Craig Daniel playing guitar and singing. Stan Schaefer playing the drums.
Great drummer.
Yeah. Scott Hatfield playing keyboards, and John Kuntz playing percussion.
Oh, all those guys are great.
Oh, and Vince Warner.
Oh, and Vince. You skipped your
my brother Vince. Vince, I'm sorry. Vince.
He's like the guy that's your right hand guy down there.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. No, I love Vince. So and Vince, and then we're doing also a little opening act, and my daughter's going to come and sing.
Oh,
she
that's
and I are going to
great.
sing and do some heart and
that's
some.
Cute.
So yeah.
I love playing the Tower Theater. So you guys are doing the Beatles, Prince, David Bowie, Paul Simon, Earth, Wind and Fire, B-52s. Oh, that's awesome.
No.
Was that last year?
That's an old. Okay.
Give me the list.
Read it. So Led Zeppelin, Queen.
Oh, I got it here.
The Ramones.
Rolling Stones,
Rolling
Zombies.
Stones, Fleetwood Mac. Yeah. I can't read this, Dave.
The Zombies.
The Zombies.
Who do you play by the Zombies?
Time of the Season.
Oh yeah, it's the time of the season. Awesome. Talking Heads, David Bowie, and many others.
There you go. Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay, I'll scratch that one out. That was last year's. Well,
we did 2 years ago. We did the whole Abbey Road album from front.
Oh,
to
with
back.
how it goes from one to the end and ends with Golden Slumbers and all that. Yeah.
It was really
That's so
fun.
great. Do you guys do Her Majesty's a pretty nice girl?
Vince walked out.
Yeah.
And finished the whole show doing Her Majesty.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, everybody go out there. April 5th, Tower Theater, 6:30 doors, 7:30 show. All ages. Great.
Yep.
Presented by the Peace Rocks Foundation, an all-volunteer nonprofit organization. Their mission is to promote peace, unity, and cultural diversity through activities, programs, and events in art, music, and education. A paragraph that you'll never ever hear on KMJ.
I know. But you just heard it.
On diversity?
But you just heard it.
Diversity. Yeah. Are you guys really supposed to be here?
Yes.
Sure.
Because music crosses
All boundaries.
lines.
Yes.
all boundaries.
I'm gonna
Music-
deliver your album to Kim Jong Un and to the Ayatollah and everything like that, and I'm sure there will be peace, and they won't.
Well, you can put it in the love letters that get sent back and forth.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Debbie,
Yeah.
music as a kid. Who were mom and dad, by the way?
Well, my mom and dad, Caroline and Terry,
Yeah.
they split up when I was very young because they were very young.
Oh, really?
Very young. And so I ended up spending most of my young life in Davis, California.
Mm-hmm.
And but
Music in the family as a young age?
no, not really.
Really?
No.
Where'd you pick up singing?
That's a really good question.
Yeah. Boyfriend?
No.
Boyfriend in a
you know
band,
what?
and she's the girlfriend that hung out
It was
with the
this.
band?
It was actually that I was sort of lost as a kid, and my group of friends all decided that they wanted to go and try out for a community theater play. So we all right. So I was sort of this following type of
Yeah.
kid. I'll go do that. So we all made it into this play and it was Anything Goes.
Oh, yeah.
And so we were all part of the chorus, whatever. And so when the high school play came around, we all decided that we would audition for that. Well, I didn't make it.
Oh.
So I asked the drama teacher why. And she had her little book with my audition form, and she said, well, it looks like you can dance just fine, and da-da. Honey, I don't think that you should find something else besides singing.
Are you kidding?
That's what she said to me.
Hey, folks.
And you know what? I'm going to swear.
Yeah.
I said, oh, hell no, inside my head.
Yeah.
And I begged my mom to let me to have some singing lessons. And so she did. And the first singing lesson that I took from this woman, her name was Lenore Turner, and I've tried to find her and I can't find her.
Yeah, I know.
She stopped playing and she went, they told you can't sing? She goes, let's get you in. So we had 2 choirs at school that were you had to audition for, and at the time, Davis High School Choir was like, you know how choirs go on. You have the best choir in all of California.
Right. The competitions and stuff.
Ours
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
the top school, and I made it into the top choir.
Okay, listen, folks out there.
So-
You may or may not have heard of Debbi Ruud from here in town, sort of a little Valley favorite, I was just working on an album. You said you had an album that you had done, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. Marcella, I'm going to try to find the song during the break. Remember this time, okay? Your voice, I was shocked. I mean, when you said, here, I'm going to send you some tracks. I need some, post-production work done on it and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, I actually had to stop and go, oh my God, it's a kind of voice that gives you shivers because it's that warm, I don't want to say smoky voice, but it's that whispering, it's just, you fall in love with the voice.
That's very kind.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
And folks, if you see on air, you'd fall in love with Debbie anyway, because she's beautiful. But,
Thank
okay.
you, Mark.
So, check out the YouTube. That's just a promo for my YouTube, by the way. So don't. I'm teasing. Actually, it really is. You really are. And it's. I can't imagine that this woman didn't hear that.
I think I was terrified, and terror can get in the way of a lot of things.
Absolutely.
So,
all right, we're gonna talk some more about this album that I've been talking about, and we'll hopefully find a track from it real quick here. So we'll be right back with Debbi Ruud and Dave Brodie from the Hearts on Fire Choir. We Will Rock You, April 5th, coming up at the Tower Theater. We'll be right back after this. This is the Marc Kapetan Show on KMJ. Welcome back to KMJ. Sweet sounds of Debbi Ruud and A Case of You.
Just before our love got lost, you said, I am as constant as a northern star. And I said, constantly in the darkness, where's that at? If if you want me, I'll be in the bar.
I mean, Marcella, is that killer or what?
On the
What was the name of that teacher, the drama teacher?
I think she passed.
You think she passed?
Yeah.
I don't care.
It was a long time ago in Davis, California.
Well, she made a...
Well, she...
Listen to that. Come on. Yeah, she was wrong.
But she helped me because she made me mad.
Well, I was about to say she was your antagonist, right?
Yeah, she was.
Debbie, that's beautiful. Have you put that out yet?
No,
for God's sakes,
I haven't, Mark.
Okay,
I haven't.
folks, we have a whole album that Debbie's going to name by the end of the show that I want you all to buy because that's part of it. It's fantastic. So we are on with Debbi Ruud from the. But is that your actual name, Ruud? I won't ask. See,
No, it is my actual name.
Really?
I mean, it's not my maiden name, but
Yeah.
I was married to Greg Ruud, and we had we split up, but we're still best friends.
Yeah.
And I'm known in town as Debbi Ruud.
Well, it's a great stage name.
When I
you
got
know?
remarried, I thought about taking Alden, and actually, kind of legally, it's that.
Yeah.
But everybody knows me as Deb Ruud, and so that's my name.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave, you have a stage name, by the way?
No, I don't.
Dave Brodie on
But
here.
I'm open to suggestions.
Okay. The heart's on Dave Broman.
There you
Yeah,
go.
you're the Broman. Yeah, there you go.
Brode.
I just named it. Now all 60 people are going to start calling you Broman. Sorry,
yeah.
sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to do that to you. They are with the Hearts on Fire choir. No, I keep switching that around. Is that right? Yeah, the Hearts on Fire choir.
Yeah, Hearts on Fire.
Yeah, because that makes sense. Hearts on Fire. They're going to be doing a show April 5th at the Tower Theater. It's called the We Will Rock You show, basically, where they sing tons of your classic favorites, Led Zeppelin and all the rest of them in choir form. 60 people on stage, which must make a huge vibration of that, what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So if you want good feelings and a good vibe, go out to the Hearts on Fire choir show of We Will Rock You at Tower Theater on April 5th.
With a live band.
With a live
That's right.
band.
With a live rock and
Yeah, with a
band.
live rock and roll band. Debbie, I'm looking at your my notes here of you. You have a 40-year-old son?
I know.
I can't. I
I
don't
have
know.
a 40-year-old son. He turned 40 on Monday.
I don't know when your parents had you because you said they were young, but you must have been about 8 years old when you had Zach.
Well, I wasn't much
At 40.
older.
Was that when you were trying to find yourself? That lost period
No,
you were talking about?
I was married. But we got pregnant, I think the day we got married.
Oh,
Bam.
yeah. That's my mom and dad said
Yeah.
the same thing.
So, yeah.
And Carter, 34 years old.
Yep.
And your lovely husband, who's from Greg, your previous marriage, but your lovely husband, John, who just sort of just hung around the voice shop because he thought you were cute or something like that. So,
Well, that is how we met.
Is it really?
He was hanging around there. He was actually taking lessons from Astrid. So
Yeah.
Astrid from Animotion
Yeah.
was giving him lessons, and we kind of bumped into each other in the hallway. And he's cute. Oh.
is that like one of the biggest hits out of Fresno?
Astrid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're my obsession.
You're my obsession.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Astrid.
folks. If you know that song that came straight here from Fresno, homegrown. Speaking of great music from Fresno, you are one of the board members, or director, board member
I'm a board member.
of the Valley Music Hall of Fame. Dave, were you on that, by the way?
No, I'm on the advisory
Yes,
committee.
You're on the advisory committee. Honestly, I think I am
Less
too.
work.
Yes, you
God
are.
knows. God
You-
knows when I've gone
you
to a
are.
meeting.
You
I
are
know.
on
I
it.
know. I know. Don't. I didn't mean to promote that, but
That's a great organization.
it is a great. So I've been to some of your events. I've also been to the Sports Hall of Fame, which is a similar thing, and it's great because a lot of great music has come out of here, and people just weren't getting the recognition.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to add that John Schaefer was on our board.
Oh, I know, because the last time I was at a meeting, I saw him there.
Yeah. So that's
I know.
a big loss for us.
Yeah. Have you guys announced for this year?
No. We have
Any-
not. And honestly, I mean, because I'm on the board, you would think I might know who they are, and I don't.
Yeah.
I know who was nominated. I know, because the submissions come in, the public nominates. The board has nothing to do with nominating. The public does, and so we get the submissions.
So, like, who are some of the names that were nominated, basically?
For this year?
Yeah, do you know?
I don't know that I'm supposed to say.
Okay, don't say it.
I honestly, that's a good question, and I don't know if I'm at liberty to say
Don't worry
who's
about it.
nominated. But I can tell you that there's about 10 new ones for this year, and then we also look at past ones that maybe didn't, win previously, and we put them into the pile.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, support the Valley Music Hall of Fame.
There's a great website, Valley Music Hall of Fame, that has all of the past winners.
Yep.
And with biographies of them, and you can see how much music has been created.
It's great music, and to honor these people, that they need a little bit of funding. I think I even owe you a check too, Debbie. So if you could help with funding, we sure would appreciate it. Now I am sounding like a Democrat, aren't I?
Yeah, you are.
Exactly.
Welcome.
Welcome. We had one of the greatest of your inductees into the Hall of Fame, Ann Thaxter.
Oh, Ann.
She was on this show.
I love her.
I love her. Ann, if you're out there, shout out to you, because we love you. And I set up a little piano, and it was an electronic piano, which she wasn't used to. And I said, please, Ann, can you do something? And all of a sudden, she just banged out something like she was back on the Ed Sullivan show, and it was beautiful.
She's a lovely person. So talented. Oh, my goodness.
Absolutely.
Just a joy to be around.
Yeah, Valley Music Hall of Fame and their website. You also have a website too, right? For I have a Fresno Music Academy.
Yes, and then Peace Rocks Foundation is actually the nonprofit that we formed about a year ago, and our choir is under the Peace Rocks Foundation. 501c3.
I don't want to miss this, and I don't want to end this on a downer, but that album that we were talking about was done, and I want to make sure I mention it because we just had a friend pass, John Schaefer, but also it was, who was it you did that album with?
With a gentleman named Andre Bush, who was a Grammy-nominated guitarist around here and played all around. Yeah. He passed, I want to say it was 10 years in August that he passed, and he was a local, just extremely talented guitarist.
Yeah, we're going to put this thing out for you folks. I've already contacted a CD presser, and I don't know if you want to do it on CD, and I don't know who buys CDs anymore these days, but we got to get this thing out to you because it's so great. But it's got to be just such a struggle to have a loss of a musical partner because of that vibe that you get, that happiness.
Yeah. And the cool thing about that album is that all of his guitar parts were done. It was my vocals that weren't. And so we did most of them live, but I hadn't done any kind of editing or anything yet. So we were able to finish it after the fact.
It's one of those things that I say when you could see a picture of somebody, but you can't remember what they sounded like. You can't remember what that feeling was. And if you could capture that, like we do with the videos here and the audio tapes, it's just such a great memory to have, and it just brings back all sorts of emotions, which I know it did when we were doing that album. So, Debbi Ruud, Hearts on Fire, April 5th, the We Will Rock You concert at the Tower Theater. Dave Brodie, you'll see him there somewhere in the background there, right, Dave?
Yes,
no, you'll see them up front.
I'll be in the back.
He dances the most up
there. You go. Oh, okay. we'll look at the guy shaking his hips. Thanks for being on the show, you guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, we'll see you there April 5th at the Hearts on Fire concert at the Tower Theater. This has been the Marc Kapetan Show on KMJ. We'll see you next week. Thanks to my wonderful producer, Marcella Solorio Taylor.